Good morning.
Good morning.
Mercedes, good morning and welcome to Mercadies Damatrowski, legislative candidate from District 37. Thank you, Mercedes, for joining us for our virtual legislative candidate meeting this morning. My name is Gina Ragland with AARP Nebraska, and joining me today is Susan DeCamp, Bob Lassen, and Danny DeLong, all AARP lead advocacy volunteers. AARP State President Dave Holmquist is also joining us, as well as Emily Wick from the state office. Mercedes, we appreciate your taking the time to meet and discuss issues of importance to the 50-plus voter and their families across Nebraska. And as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and will be shared with AARP members across your district prior to the election. So Mercedes, if you want to start us off by giving us a little background about yourself and your campaign, and we're aiming for 5 minutes or less on that. Once we've completed your opening, we'll move into the questions. So the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you for having me today. It's an honor to be able to speak today on behalf of my candidacy. For me, elder care in our state is a very big priority. My grandparents, I am in charge of their care, being the eldest of my mother's children. My mom and I are very close in age. She's 47 and I'm 30. So I'm going to be in charge of her care and my grandparents' care at the same time, hopefully not. But because of that, and because I too will someday be an elder citizen of Nebraska, it's important to make sure that my care and the care of my elders is taken care of. We really, when we're young, don't understand how much support it takes for our elders once they do get older. And unfortunately, because of that, we are seeing what's happening to our elders in the nursing homes and care facilities because we apparently just don't care, which is very alarming to me because of our elder population in Nebraska and with all the closing that are happening. I have several friends that are working in the nursing home and as nurses, and listening to what they say and seeing them work and being a server, just working in the food service in addition to my other jobs means that I also interact with the elder community. And being the person that sometimes is the only person they get to talk to in a week because nobody comes to visits or they don't have that family anymore is really, really, it makes me care. Because nobody should be alone in their old age. And because of that, and because of my own experience with my grandparents and my grandma needing so much support, we really need our lawmakers, which is crazy to me that they're not even doing, besides the point. It's important for our lawmakers to be involved and be proactive in preventing our elders from being abused. Elder abuse in our state is also astronomically high, but we don't really talk about it because we're Nebraskans. But we need to start talking about that. We need to start changing the system and putting supports in place that protect our elders because we need to. My family, my grandma has Alzheimer's. She just moved in with my dad, my grandpa and her both. Because that's the best place for them at this time. And I would like to see, because my parents aren't going to be able to care for her once it gets to the point beyond their care. And I want to see somewhere where she's going to be safe and happy. And right now that's not an option where she lives. So if I become a candidate or an actual elected official, my goal would be to focus on that community development options for seniors, especially in our area, because we're all spread out. We need to almost make a rural community living center for rural community members so that they can still be active, because we know elders staying active prevents those accidents from happening. Because my grandma Zach lives in O'Neill. She just went to the home this year and she's like 90. But she's in a great place where she is being taken care of. So I guess with that, I'm going to just start answering questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Mercedes. We'll now move into the question sets. We provided you with a set of 3 questions pertaining to the 50-plus in Nebraska. Again, allotting 5 minutes for each of those questions. Our first question this morning will come from Dave Holmquist, again, our state president, and it addresses helping people stay in their homes and communities. So go ahead, Dave.
Good morning, Mercedes. Thank you for being with us today. A livable community is one that is safe and secure, has housing that is affordable, in other words, no more than 30% of one's income, transportation options that allow individuals to travel by multiple means, and has supportive community features and services for people of all ages, allowing people to remain in their communities as they age. What steps would you take to ensure all Nebraskans have access to livable communities?
I would definitely look at the place where they're at. I know there are some programs. Where did they say they were at? We have, sorry, I have a whole bunch of notes. I really prepared for this. There are some places in the country in which inside communities, they have like an adopt an elder kind of thing, where we could have like communal housing, or like my grandparents have an extra bedroom. They could rent out to a college student that might be going into geriatrics, or another elder, few years younger, put out an ad, say, hey, I need someone to live with me, looking for a roommate. I also want to kind of avoid that because of the privacy issue. So like with my grandma and her situation, we put in a chairlift. That's expensive. Medicaid paid for it. There we go. So because of their income and how they're only living on retirement. But she also needed in-home care because she ended up having a brain bleed during one of her illnesses and falls now because, and it took somebody coming into the home to do physical therapy in order to find that, but it took several years to find someone who could provide that service. So we need more access and available services to help in-home living. I know with our traveling nurses, that's helping a lot of elders right now stay in their home. And it's just providing more access, letting seniors know what resources there are. So with education for our elders, because I know we get disconnected once we start living, and it's hard to keep track of what's going on in our communities. So even just more community outreach to senior citizens would help them stay at home. Right. We just need our communities to step up a little bit, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mercedes. Our second question now will shift into health, caregiving, and home and community-based care, and Susan DeCamp will take that one.
Good morning, Mercedes. Nice to have you with us. Caregivers help older persons live independently at home by providing assistance with activities like bathing and dressing and performing medical and nursing tasks such as wound care and administering medication. But caregivers often provide these services with little or no training and also little or no pay. So with that in mind, I have a two-part question. First, would you support helping caregivers with things such as paid leave, respite services, telehealth, and access to education and training? And secondly, how would you protect or expand paid services and supports, as well as financial security that allows more seniors to live independently in their homes and communities?
Yeah, definitely just simply not messing with them, for one thing. Once we have a system in place that seems to be working, tearing it apart because we don't like one little thing is not conducive to the mission that we have. So just basic protections in what already has, and then growing them out. Pay, I know, is an issue, as is even just attracting people here. So we need to start doing public-private things in mass almost. I know the state making it so that low-income people can go to college and have extra education is going to make this problem a little bit easier to handle, especially since we can kind of start getting younger people engaged in school into the geriatrics, because this also would relate, I believe, to the next question, or no, different question, our League of Women Voters, I'm sorry. With the post-COVID-19 recovery is we have a need. We see the need. Our state's already taken steps to meet that need. So now all we need to do is direct people and attract people so that we can fill that need. And then we get to have all the fun.
Great.
Hey, thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you, Mercedes. Yes. Our third question now will come from Bob Lassen, and we're now going to switch into nursing facility quality. And I know you've addressed some of that, but I think you'll find this question even more insightful. So go ahead, Bob. I think you're on mute, Bob.
You are.
I still got a landline, so
Oh.
it rings periodically and I have to shut it off. Thank you, Mercedes. This question has to do with nursing facility quality, and I know you touched on that briefly and with your grandmother's experience. An estimated 6,600 Nebraskans reside in one of Nebraska's 211 nursing homes. By 2040, the University of Nebraska Omaha projects that number will more than double to almost 14,000. Due to a variety of factors, over the past few years, Nebraska has seen an increase in nursing facilities having to close and residents having to relocate to other facilities in different parts of the state. Our question is, how will you ensure that Nebraska residents receive quality nursing home care, specifically addressing adequate nursing force and proper reimbursement, which are often cited as the reasons of these closings?
So this is not a fun question. This is a real question. So right now, the situation we are in is bad. We're in a bad situation, and which means that we can only go up. So right now, knowing what could happen, we have the opportunity to stop that. We can right now just be proactive and pull plans together and just start to plan damage control. But at the same time, we need to do everything we can to prevent what we have from disappearing. Talking to pharmaceuticals and other things with this between the state and private sector, there's a pay gap that I'm noticing, and that's the main cause of why these facilities are closing down, because private sector, public sector are leaving this middle ground that nobody is filling, and that gap is one that I'm looking for ideas to fill. But education is part of that gap. We had the brain drain. We just don't have enough people in Nebraska, especially in our area. I sense a population redistribution coming since of COVID and with all the evictions. I don't know how that's going to look. Not knowing what's going to happen in the next 6 months makes it hard to even try to plan for anything more than a couple years. So I would say just massive brainstorming right now, coming up with ideas, how to help seniors, look at our communities, look for community members that could maybe adopt a senior if in the areas where the nursing homes are closing. The medical professionals in those communities with the closings are stuck there too. So if we made it easier for them to come together and help the community that's being abandoned with, I know with our licensing requirements and such, there are a few different things that we can loosen up to help the already trained medical professionals to help their community. And in doing that, we can open up certification requirements and change that. If we have professionals in the community that feel like they could become certified to teach other community members, like emergency mental health training, only with senior elder care. I can take care of my grandmother because I was taught how to take care of my grandmother. If we keep teaching that to other people, then it won't be so scary if a nursing home closes and we don't catch it. Training our community members and how to care for elders is the #1 defense in preventing our elders from being lost. So, and for quality of nursing home and standards, we just have to prevent it from changing. We have to just be the people on the front line that are protecting our elders. And I hate that that's how it is, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Great.
So.
Thank you, Mercedes. We're now that's the end of our questions, and so we're getting to the end of our interview here. I'd like to offer you the final minutes to offer any closing thoughts or comments that you have or messages you want to send to your constituency. So the floor is back to you.
Awesome. This year has highlighted all of the cracks in our government and healthcare system and all of the flaws in our communities. We can either take this year and pout about it and let it get us down and become victims of the system, or we can come together and provide support for our community members and survive this and get through it like Nebraskans do. The world is really scary right now for everybody, especially when we feel like our elders are going to disappear. But that's not how it is, and that's not how it has to be. And I believe that we have a very bright future in Nebraska. And I hope that I answered everybody's questions. And if you need anything, you can go to my website, which is votemercedes.com. I have a Facebook page, which is Vote Mercedes 2020. My phone number is 308-627-7536. You can call me about anything. I like talking to my elders a lot, and not serving this year means that I'm worried about all of my elders in my community because they're as isolated as I am.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you, Mercedes, for taking the time to visit with us. We wish you the best with your campaign. And again, thank you so much for meeting with AARP Nebraska today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you for your candidacy.
Thank you.
Take care.